Excellencies, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm both emotional, as you are, and honored to gather here with you in סיגט as the official representative of the State of Israel. And I have the privilege to transmit the message of His Excellency, Ambassador of the State of Israel, Mr. Dan Ben-Eliezer, on this occasion, commemoration of 70 years since the deportation from סיגט to Auschwitz. Excellencies, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, today in סיגט ומרמצי, one of the most painful pages in the Romanian history is marked. We solemnly commemorate 70 years since the deportation to the death camps of hundreds of thousands of innocent Jews from northern Transylvania, a territory then annexed to Hungary and occupied by Nazi Germany. They are among the 6 million Jews who perished in the Holocaust, the Shoah. Before 1940, the Jewish community here influenced the economic, social, and cultural life. Given their contribution to the society, they were an important part of the history of Transylvania, a history which 70 years ago changed dramatically into its worst chapter. When the war was almost at the end, our brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, and children, Jews from סיגט and from small villages around, were confined and tortured in the ghetto and then huddled in the train to Auschwitz, where they found their death in the gas chambers, being the victim of the extermination plan operated by the local collaborators. No words sufficient to describe the tragedy they suffered, deprived of their goods, their dignity, and their right to live. One of the few survivors, Livne, who was born here, is a symbol for the Jewish revival, and his life and the survivor's life represent a universal lesson and testimony that the human spirit endures and prevails. His most quoted words are, "I believe the Holocaust was a unique event. For the very first time in history, a Jew was condemned to die, not because of what beliefs he had, but because of who he was. For the very first time, a birth certificate became a death certificate." We must remember that the Holocaust was carefully planned and systematically executed. It has become a trauma, transforming Europe into a bloody war scene. The Holocaust has shaken the very foundation of the modern civilization where the Jewish people had nowhere to go. Today, the State of Israel, which is now an island of democracy, of progress and prosperity, stands as a safe haven for the Jewish people, where they can be free from persecution and fulfill their self-identity. The Holocaust represents a universal lesson which strongly resonates in our hearts and should be seen as a warning. We should not forget that even nowadays, there are still people around the world who out of ignorance or maliciousness deny the Holocaust. There are also people who deny the fact that it took place in Romania. Anti-Semitism can still be felt in our modern days, and thus we are faced with an obligation to the future to combat racism, xenophobia, and anti-Semitism in order to guarantee that the Holocaust will never happen again. Israel has committed itself to protect Jews around the world and to fight relentlessly against discrimination in all its forms. But this fight is not just an Israeli